what drove you to the vision of Doha and the way that it's actually built?
One of the owners of it's a collaboration between two major developing companies, and one of them came to the studio because he was curious to see things, and we showed him things, and then he asked me, if I show you a piece of land in the middle of Tel Aviv, what would you do? And I said, try me. And they commissioned a concept. This is important because I think the project it is like it is because the first month or 2 months that we worked on it, we didn't have any contact with anyone from the clients. So we had the complete freedom to fantasize. Also, it wasn't the job, it was like working on a concept. And you will find that in every interesting and good building that you'll see anywhere in the world, yes, there's a good architect, but there's also a good client. Because you understand why, because you need. So I did some sketches and things. I jokingly said I did sketches to scare the client off. Because everyone wants something unusual and special, but when it comes to it, they don't really want something special. The people are very cautious, and it's serious gambles, serious risk, serious money. So I did, like every project, it begins with sketching and playing with the ideas. It was in a place where there's lots of towers there. I hate going to skyscrapers and to towers that you have to get to them through a maze, a shopping mall, and it is like there's a lot of concrete and build stuff, and then there's the building. So I wanted to. I remember, this is like an early render of the project. I said in the first meeting when I presented the concept that I want to touch the ground with as little area as possible, the smallest footprint. And let's have a park where there wasn't a park before. It wasn't that we're building a building on the park. By the concept that we created, we vacated the land to make a park, because it started by points on the floor and then it grew anyway. And in that first meeting, I remember exactly the person that's a good idea. And somehow, after the presentation, they couldn't go back. And there's another big architect there that already did a scheme for that project. When you make friends, you also make enemies. So anyway, they couldn't go back. And this is like early renders of the project. This thing explains the idea. I call it an upside-down building, a building that all the machinery and the plants are on the floor, and then it makes a big foyer, and it frees the roof. It has a glorious roof, and the thing is that in my practice we don't churn things out. Every building we do, it's like the first building we've ever done, and so it is. I always thought that experience and knowing and rehearsed solution is a bad habit. It's nice not to have. It's nice not to know. It's nice to. And I really love these drawings of that. That is, like quite a while later, working with all the different consultants and mechanical, electrical, heating. And when I complained before about in architecture that you have to negotiate with many people, there's also some blessing in it. I mean, there's a lot of joy in negotiating and inventing things with people from different professions. Putting the plant on the floor means that it has to breathe. And I didn't like the grills that normally, I think you can see it a bit in my friend's building in Madrid, Jean Nouvel's thing, there's grills on the street, am I right? Anyway, I wanted to avoid it, so we invented these things, and I think what you don't know, or maybe you do know, that this exercise led us to Cosentino, because we looked for the material, the best material to do it, and we looked at other companies a lot better than you. We did it. We had amazing visits, and we were really impressed with this Decton. I never heard of Decton before we worked on this, and I won't give you all the technical details about it, but it is an incredible process that makes an incredible product. So yeah, the zigzag is to let air without having a frontal grill, and you can see it here. Actually, in this picture, the only material you can see other than glass is Decton. What you don't see here very well is that there's a gradation of color. It starts darker and it goes lighter. So I remember going to the penners. They were a bit like the penners you have here, made of Decton in a gradation. The only problem is I flew from London to Almeria and it was perfect. So I said, no, I changed this just to, no. And they did. But it was perfect before I changed it. No, it's not true. So again, going back to the idea of starting with the park rather within a shopping mall. This is all renders, of course. You don't have to believe it. I said to the marketing people that this building is not a cucumber. I also say it's not a phallus. It is an iceberg. It's more like an iceberg. So they had a brilliant idea to take me to Iceland to pretend to be inspired by icebergs. And I told them, I don't work like this. I'm not going to pretend. So they took an actor. Whoa.
To dream the impossible. To fight the unknown. This is the mission. This is the charge.
And this is how architects work. You get a project, you buy a term, you go to Iceland, and you get I asked them to take Bruce Willis, but it was too expensive, so I don't know who this man is. Anyway, it's what? Why is it upside down here? Hang on, maybe it's. Hang on. Whoops, I'm punished now. Tam-ta-dam. Hang on, I'll do it again. I'll try start here, maybe. Yeah, I told you it's good. The second part of this film. This film was very important before the building exists because all we had is renders and films that are fake. But what's interesting here about marketing is that who would think of advertising a building with an avalanche? This is okay still, but this, you see, I wouldn't buy a building that is advertised by this, but they were right and I was wrong. The building was let, every centimeter of it was let very fast. I mean, we don't need to watch the film because we have reality now. This is photographs, not, yes, there's a park, and we did also a system of shelves that if each floor is a shelves and that the glazing is locked between the shelves. And today with clever computers, we can work out that 97% of all the glazing panels were the same size, although the building is sort of adventurous in shape. At one point, we had pressure to go to a skin, forget the shelves. And then we did the research and explained them why the shelves are good. You can see on a big problem with glass buildings is the reflection on the environment, the neighbors and things. So this is a reflection. If it was not with shelves, you get that. Our building, this is a reflection. Another thing is with the shelves is that when it rains, the shelves make it much, anyway. So it's really nice you do a building to please your interest, but it also gets the best award for being environmentally friendly for all sorts of reasons. But it is the first building in Tel Aviv that got the platinum plaque on it of being environmentally friendly. You do things like a model that you put in a wind tunnel to test what the wind does to it, and another thing is when you do a new building in most cities in the world, you have to spend a percentage on public art. I don't know if you have it in Madrid or not. I'm complaining about it, but some of the work I do is sculptures for buildings. But here, I wanted the art or the sculpture to be incorporated in a building. I didn't want to have the building and then a sculpture next to it. So one of the legs of the buildings is the sculpture there, the first sketches, and there it is. And the funny thing is that's when people describe each other, the place, the building with the metal. I remember there was actually a Cosentino event there, and I took a taxi, and I said to the taxi driver, I gave him the address. It's the ugly building, I said to him. And he nearly stopped the car. Said, this is my favorite building. Don't speak like that. So I said, okay. So the foyer, the lobby, is very big because all the first 7 floors are where all the machinery is. So, and then you can also see the sky from the entrance. And we let a little bit of the park to go inside. This is another journey. Sorry, we have to move to stainless steel now. Is it okay? A necessary evil in every building is the security, the turnstiles, and that people have to come and you know about it. So a very innocent sketch, the first sketch I did for the reception desk or think the idea, let's do it all in one continuous bend. And that's easy, but then you have to sort of model it. And then in discussions, they tell you that, for disabled people, it has to be a certain height, so you go down, talking about disabled, I'm very happy that they told her that one of the, that instead of doing a special access for wheelchairs, I did it so all the four entrances are good for a wheelchair. So they don't have a special, dedicated, different. So this is all good. This is all renders. And then you have to, again, negotiation with people that make all these security checks. And crazy project to, I'll tell you a secret, no one pays you for this. Because it's something that we had a lot of time spent on something that we could have done something very simple. Here it is, but anyway. So I love this film that someone took. I mean, you work and it becomes like a major thing, and then people that go to work in the building now just take it for granted. They just walk and, it's like, most of them won't even notice, oh, this is a very special, or maybe they do, I don't know. Tecton on the floor. Okay, we'll move on. So this is a render. We had to. What we did, I didn't say that. We created a very, very, very good place to work. There isn't a desk there that's not near a window, and I feel guilty because we had a camera on the next building, watching the building, the building process, and we could see from the studio exactly what the builders are doing, and we could see they chose the best places to have lunch every day. So we got to know the building from the first workers on the building, which is the builders. This is real thing. So when I go there, I'm so happy that had not very little, nothing to do with the interior design of the offices. Most of the occupants are like high-tech companies, and so this is looking into the that's the side photos. I mean, you always wish, can we stop here? That looks so good. But no, we'll. So this is going to choose the gradation of the Decton.
No, this is the factory visit. So one of the things that we usually do in Cosentino, that we like to connect the architects and the developers to our main factory in Almeria. So we invited Ron to visit and to approve the new colors, because one of the things that I think in TOA most or everything, we stretched our abilities. And one of those abilities was to create 7 bespoke colors specifically at TOA. 7 colors that we will not use again, a part of maybe to TOA number 2.
Feel free to use them. Don't.
And we invited Ron to approve the colors, and it was a success. And I think that from that point, actually, a new idea was born. And
anyway, so they asked me in my visit if I would do something for Decton, with Decton, something that, and I love doing ping pong tables. So I'll show you the first ping pong table that I did. Maybe I can show it to you now. Maybe I can jump to it now. It will give us a break from talking about buildings. Okay. Okay, so this is the stainless steel ping pong table. It has a belly. It's not straight, so it slows the game down. It makes the rallies longer. When I exhibited this at the Royal Academy, I don't know if you know, but it was the last half a year of before Anthony Caro, the national sculptor of England, passed away. So he came to me and he says, "This is a marvelous sculpture." I said, "Thank you, Sir Anthony." And he says, "You should try and play ping pong on it." And this was the best compliment I've ever got, because he saw a sculpture before he saw sports equipment. And this is a winner of all the discussion about what is art and what is design and what is... So anyway, this is a show. The first time I showed it was in Bologna. I did a joint show with my friend Francesco Clemente, who is also a ping pong enthusiast. And when I had a show in a gallery in Russia, the owner of the gallery, Gary Tatinsian, not only that he didn't allow people to play there, he didn't allow them to touch it. He said, "Look, it's a ping pong table. We should play. Let's get a ball and bats." This was my worst mistake ever, because he was such a good ping pong player, and I didn't win a single game against him. This is slow motion, but that's him. That's him. But this is when I had my show in LA, so you can see like professional people playing. So this one is just doing that, one direction. And this one, no, this is not. Do you want to see this? No. This one for Cosentino, it's called 10 layers. It's made out of 10 layers. And as I said, it is concaved in all directions. And when you carve it, it makes the circles. The circles are like topography of the layers. And I remember getting this video of the people just finished making it, playing on it before me. And then this is, can I tell the story?
Of course.
I lost against the Russian, but I won against Rafael Nadal. It's true. I mean, in my diary I wrote I won against Nadal, a technical victory, because this is in the Madrid Open, and Nadal was going to play against me after he finished his tennis game, but unfortunately he lost the tennis game, and it was the first defeat he had after 50 games, so he didn't turn up. He took his bets, packed them, and went home. Before that, I warned him that don't think that ping pong is tennis. Don't fool yourself. Anyway, but I played against, what's his name?
This is Juan Manuel. Is the
Paralympic
Olympic. Yeah, was the
silver medal award.
Silver. When I tell the story, I say gold.
Silver champion in Rio de Janeiro Olympic Games.
Right.
Yeah.